Welcome to today's pre-release review of the Betrayal at Cloud City, the newest set from Lego. It has a lot of people excited. It has a lot of people gnashing their teeth because it's not what they were hoping for. But before you get your opinion up, if you haven't seen it yet, let's take a quick look at what you're gonna get. All right, so here's the front of the box. And as you can see on the front of the box, in the upper right corner, you're gonna start off with a Slave 1, a little midi scale Slave 1 that just fits a single Boba Fett figure. You're going to have a landing platform. You're going to enter then into the promenade, the nice and elegant white promenade. And then off to one side, you can see where C-3PO gets abducted by a stormtrooper. And then there's a little meeting room with Han and Leia. And then the dining room with the Bespin guard where Darth Vader is waiting for them. And then, of course, there's the carbon freezing chamber, which is almost an exact copy of what we already have that was just released a couple years ago. And then a cloud car, a I am your father scene on the sensors of Bespin there. And then on the back, you can see the detention center. And let's take a look at the back of the box. And there you can see the detention center a little bit better, and where C-3PO is also in with the droid stuff, where Chewbacca finds C-3PO and the extra little landing platform there for the cloud car. And then at the bottom of the box, let's scroll through and look at the individual scenes. You can see the dining room where they meet Darth Vader. You can see the carbonite freezing chamber, which has a bunch of functions to it. Supposedly you can put Han in, freeze him, and have him come back out in carbonite. I don't know. We'll have to see how that works. The promenade where they're walking, where C-3PO is about to get lost. And then, of course, the I am your father, no, scene, and all of that. And, of course, the landing platform for Boba Fett. And let's just take a little bit closer look and count all the minifigures you're going to get. You're going to get 20 minifigures. So starting up at the upper right, you can see the Bespin guard, you can see Lando, then you can see C-3PO and a Stormtrooper, and then Lobot and Han and Leia, and then another Bespin guard, and then another Stormtrooper, and another Han, and another Leia, and Chewbacca, and an Ugnaught, and then Luke, Darth Vader, C-3PO, and a cloud car pilot. Now, if you're keeping track, that only added up to 17, because of course 18 there is the IG-88 droid, so now we're up to 18. A couple missing, there's still two more. One is because there's still the pilot for the cloud car. There are two pilots, one's there, you can see the cloud car, and then lastly we have Boba Fett, getting us up to 20 in his midi scale Slave 1. And of course, it is this Boba Fett that sort of has everyone excited. So let's take a quick look at this Boba Fett because he's so important in this set. As you can see, printed arms, printed legs. Lego has not released a full images of all his different parts, so we don't know exactly what the minifigure is going to look like on the back. And he really is very similar to what we've already gotten in the last few years. So let's take a look at some of the others. So here you can see the Slave 1, the carbon freezing chamber, and the desert skiff Boba Fett's. The main difference between those three is only the UCS Boba Fett has the printed arms. So is this one going to be an exact same print as the UCS Boba Fett? I can't tell yet. Can any of you notice a difference between the two? We will just have to wait and see. Well, here is what he came from. The super rare, super expensive printed arms, printed legs Boba Fett from the Cloud City set. It doesn't look like much now, but back when the original Cloud City came out, that printing was not so common as to have printed arms and printed legs. And in fact, this guy in the United States looks like it's going to run you about $350 for one of these new. And here is the set that he came from. This is the original Cloud City. And as you can see, you get a freezing chamber, you get the dining room, and then you get the sensor array where Luke and Darth Vader fight, as well as the landing platform for a Slave 1, but no Slave 1. There was another Slave 1 out at the time, I believe. So the new set, obviously, is much better, or much more complete in certain respects. And, of course, you can compare it there to the old one. All right, so that's what you get from the new Cloud City. It's interesting, a lot of these re-releases that people get super excited about. They're really, really excited because the old one is so super expensive, like over $1,000 to buy one of the old Cloud cities. So this one will be much less expensive. In fact, this is less expensive than just buying a single Boba Fett figure from the old Cloud City. And of course, now we're going to get to some of the little controversial parts. So let's go ahead and throw up those stats. So of course, the first thing you're going to notice is that it is $350. Now that really took a lot of people by surprise. They said, that's what you get for $350? That seems way, way overpriced. And of course, you can see the prices in all the other countries throughout the world. It has 2,812 pieces, which is a lot. It's more than the Assault on Hoth. We don't know how much it weighs. We don't know what it's worth, or how, the dollar per pound. And it looks like it's going to come in a medium large box. Based on the picture, I don't think we're going to end up with a skinny box like Assault on Hoth. I don't think we're going to end up with a fat box like Assembly Square. I think we're going to end up with a box a little bit more in the middle, just based on the images that are released. So we're going to end up somewhere right in this middle range box, which again is going to be a big box for a playset, but it seems like for Lego, the biggest playsets now that the kids desire, that the kids really want, are coming in these big, tall boxes. So that's my guess, which is going to give it a dollar density, if that is right, of $297 per square foot, which is a lot. It's going to be a very expensive set for the size box that it comes in, which can be good, and it can be a sign of something being overpriced. Depends what your perspective is. Lastly, a few more details about the set. It's 22 inches by 22 inches by 6 inches built. Just how big is that? Well, it's bigger than one of these plates, which is only 10 inches by 10 inches, which is what standard modular comes in. It's bigger than one of these giant plates, which is 15 by 15, which I don't think anything set comes on a plate that big. And in fact, I made a little model here. So 22 inches by 22 inches. This is about how big it is. Now, since it's round, you can see it's actually pretty similar, right? The square just fits in there, but you get a little bit more. Now it's divided into quadrants. And unfortunately, one of the biggest complaints about this set, obviously it still hasn't come out, is that these look extremely secure and that they cannot come apart. Wouldn't it be nice if this half could fold out so you could put it on a shelf? This is not going to sit on any shelf, this 22-inch round size piece. In fact, if we look at this Death Star playset, you can see 22 inches, just exactly how big 22 inches is, because the Death Star, both the old one and the new one, are only 16 inches across on this widest part here. It's only 16 inches, so it's only going to be a circle about like that big for the widest part of the Death Star. So it's much wider. Some initial people said, oh, it looks like the Death Star, but just the top portion. Yeah, but it may look just like the top portion, but it's much bigger, and it's going to have a thick floor, sort of like the middle section here. So I think it'll be extremely, extremely sturdy. So I do think that it is going to be worth its $350, but we'll just have to wait and see when it's built. I'm sort of excited to see it built. But then it's not actually a UCS set either, which was the other complaint. What is it? It is now called a Master Builders Series set, because Lego has realized that putting a little badge on a playset may not be the way to attract the most adult consumers, collectors, to buy the set that's going to spend $300, $400, $500, $800 on a Lego set. So maybe they needed to come up with something different. So now they have the Master Builder Series. What other sets probably could have been Master Builder Series and not UCS designation? Well, let me go ahead and throw those up there. These are the ones that I think. Why did I determine these sets? So there's the Betrayal at Clit City. There's Assault on Hoth, of course. There's the new playset Death Star. I also threw in the Sand Crawler, the Ewok Village, and the old playset Death Star. Why did I choose all of those? I chose them both because they're minifigure heavy sets, which is of course what you want for play, and they do not come with a UCS sticker plaque. Now, some may argue that the Ewok Village is a complete set. Yes, it is a complete set. And the Sandcrawler is a complete set. Yes, it is a complete set. It's not like just a shell, or I guess the internals like the Death Star, or just a combination of sets like Assault on Hoth. But still, they definitely have that playset functionality. Yes, they're going to be UCS sets. I don't think things will be redesignated, but maybe they will be. But all of those are in common with having lots of figures and no UCS label. All right, so you can see how many pieces all those sets have, and then how much they weigh, and you can see how crazy it is, how much bigger and heavier this original Death Star is than all of the other playsets that have come since. They've all been built with much lighter construction. And getting to the last little portion here, a playset. $350. Who is going to pay $350 for a playset? Well, historically, that 2008 Death Star was a really good selling set. And it cost $400 at the time. Yet it was a really good, and they sold it for 8-9 years. They sold that set at $400. It was a really good selling set at $400. And so I think there are a lot of people out there that are going to be paying this much for a playset. And I have a little bit of first-hand knowledge about that just from the playset side, because let's take a look at a set here. The Ultra Agents Ocean Headquarters, right? Clearly a playset. It was a $100 set when it came out. I thought it was really cool, so I bought a couple. Well, I was saving one. I thought I'd keep it for my collection. I'd build it around sometime. Maybe my kids would like it sometime. Well, I look on Amazon. This was, you know, in the middle of early August. On US Amazon, it was selling for $300 for that set. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be able to find this thing used for a lot less than that at some point in time. So I ship it to Amazon. It sells in 2 days. It's sold at $300. And you're thinking that people are not going to be spending $350 on this playset with 2,800 pieces and 20 minifigures? I think that this is going to be a winner. Why was this one not a winner? Well, because it really was a collection of sets that all could be sort of purchased individually. It could be all put together. There wasn't really anything new here. Whereas with this Betrayal at Cloud City, there is some new stuff. There is the I Am Your Father scene. There are the dining rooms. There, of course, the repeat is the carbon freezing chamber. But there's a lot of new stuff that's mushed together in sort of a circular shape. Because really, what were you looking for as an Ultimate Collector Series Cloud City? Did you want something like the Death Star 2? That was only interesting because it was incomplete. Who would be interested in a UCS complete Death Star? Kind of boring, right? A complete Cloud City. Yes, the flaps could have opened, you know, like the Millennium Falcon. They're already used to those circular flaps opening, doing stuff on the inside. But you know what? Maybe at some point, I really think that this is a really good for what it's. I know people are disappointed that it wasn't this big UCS display, because we all wanted to spend another $1,000 on another really cool Lego set, right? Right? Yeah, I suppose so. But anyway, comes out September 1st if you are, or October 1st if you are a VIP, like of course everyone is. You can get it early in September. So are you going to get it? I'm going to get it. I'm happy that it's a Master Builders and not a UCS, so you UCS completionists do not have to buy it. All right, I'll get the review for you as soon as I can. Until next time, Lego on.